Hi, how you going? Tonight I'm going to show you a unique experience about catching rock blackfish at night. Now I've done a little bit of searching and I haven't seen any rock blackfish videos so far. Maybe I haven't searched out thoroughly or not, but anyway, I haven't managed to find any. I want to show you rock blackfishing at night time, luderick, brim, hopefully a silver drummer as well. I can't wait. It's nearly dark enough. Fish will be coming into the shallows and feeding. That run up tide to the high. Seas are flat. I reckon it's going to be a great night. Stay tuned. Oh, I think that was a pig. Maybe this is a small rock blackfish, this one. Oh. There we go. Is that a pig? No, it's not. You know what it is? It's a tiny little silver drum. Look at that. So that's the true drummer. It's silver. How good's that? Probably a little fish about a kilo. Now you get them around 5 kilo up and they pull a lot of string. A lot of string. They say that there's not much good on the play, but I actually don't mind them. When they're up to about 2 kilo, I don't mind them. So, anyway, I'm going to release these fish regardless. How good's that? Okay, let's start. Been very slow. I missed the fish earlier on, got that one bite, and that's all it's been so far. They might bite better on the top of the tide. Let's see. Heavy. Not biting much. Oh. Another dog shark. So timid bite and a pretty ordinary fight. They're very prolific, they're a night feeder, but they feed during the day as well, especially at night. They call them blind sharks because they look sort of blind, but they're not. Dog shark, see those whiskers there? They feed with those whiskers on the bottom, feeling for food, and then when they feel it, they go and attack whatever it is, a small crab or a shrimp or whatever it may be, small fish. So that's what they use those feelers for. Back in the water. How good's that? Look at that nice solid 1.5 kilo drummer in the pitch black. Wow. So that's my third spot I moved to. I've been struggling catching fish. I got that silver drummer, missed the bite early before that, and then bam, this pig, about easy 1.5 kilos. Good fish. Anyway, there's more to come, I hope. Yes! How good's that? The hook pulled out. I got it. Gotcha. That was so close, that. That beautiful solid pig. That was right in close. You might be able to barely see the white foam out there, indicating that it's very, very shallow water. It's so good. It just brings up another aspect, another sort of dimension to rock blackfish, fishing for them at night time. What a beautiful fish. I'm pretty confident I'm going to get a few more. Yeah, some of the rocks I'm casting at, as the wave goes past, I can actually see the rocks exposed. So I'm fishing over exposed rocks and fishing in amongst crevices as well. Obviously in plenty of white water as well, you know, so very light sinker weights I'm using the third size up, which is an 01 sinker weight. I could potentially go down to an O ball or a double O. There's not too much current there, but I'm going to see how it goes. Rock cod, kelp fish, day and night you catch these. I mean, the positive aspect to that is that you know that you're close to the bottom. Being a bottom fish, you know that you're bouncing around the bottom, so that's the positive side of it. Wow, it's a solid fish, isn't it? Look at that. Let's bring it up here. Amazing how timid it was. It bit like a very, very timid bream. Incredible. I'll tell you what, they don't fight like that when you hook up. It ripped line off me. I'm going to just quickly measure this fish up. Just interested to see what the length is. It's funny, you'll see me often, if I put my reel down on the rocks, I like to put a cloth underneath it. I don't want to scratch up my reel. I know it seems a bit pedantic, but it makes your reels last a lot longer if you don't scratch them up so much. They're going to be at least in the mid-40s, I'd say. With that 45 exactly. 45 centimetres. What a fish. I reckon it's getting around to around a couple of kilos, that fish. Mate, that ripped line off me. I'm only using 15. It was such good fun. I like the fish a bit lighter as well. I think why fish lighter at night time? Well, they don't reef you up quite as much because they don't know where to swim into. They can't find their cracks and their crevices. So therefore, they can be a little bit easier to land, but they can be harder to land. The fact is that you can't see the ledges in front of you, so you've got to make sure that you've got enough clearance. Your rod tip's well over. So imagine if I'm fishing here, your rod tip's well over the ledge that you're fishing. Otherwise, you're going to be cutting yourself off rather than the fish cutting you off. Something to think about. Yes! Look how fat that porker is. Okay, down here. You may notice I often use a cloth. It's much easier to hold a fish using the cloth, and hold it by the belly, don't hold it by the actual dorsal fin, because you can see all like the obvious spines there, okay? And keep your hands away from the gill plates, very, very sharp. Look, they're all about the same size roughly, between that 42 to 45 centimetres. It was so quiet, I know I'm repeating myself, it was so quiet to start off with, and then boom, gangbusters when you go and find the right spot. Fantastic. You might think, well, what size hook am I using? That's going to be in the description section. The rod, reel, line, hook, sinkers and all that. I'm actually using a 2.0. You think 2.0? There's a lot of rock black fishermen, like black drummer fishermen, that use number 1s and number 2s and so forth. That's okay if you're using weed baits or number 4. But when you're using a prawn or congee or bread, abalone gut, a 1.0 or a 2.0 is a better size. By using a larger hook, you tend not to deep hook smaller fish. Example being undersized snapper or undersized bream or undersized rock blackfish. So therefore, there's a much better chance of them surviving compared to a fish that's been caught on a much smaller hook. Oh, look at that bag of fish. Fantastic. How good is that? It was only 20 minutes ago, I had no fish. So I'm probably going to keep those 4 rock blackfish. They are superb eating fish too. Now, if you're going to release fish, just take into account that you don't release them back in the same spot, because it could terminate the bite. It could put the fish off the bite, so just take that into account. Oh, here we go. Small one. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Hook pulled again. Ooh. Look at that. Just. Little porker. Well, that would be definitely 30 centimetres, 32 centimetres, but I'm going to release that fish. So I'm going to walk away and release this fish elsewhere. Very, very timid. Wow, geez, they're timid. Literally picking up the bait, tips going just very faintly, and then they're just slightly loading up the tip, like barely loading up the tip. Very timid. So I'm using an 01 ball sinker, and as ridiculous as this sounds, I'm going to have to downsize. One size lighter. Oh, here we go. Oh! Damn it. That was a smashing bite. Here we go. Not very big. Oh, it's a bream. It's quite a good fish, but I got those rock blackfish, so I'm going to release that. Well over legal. small porker, still a fish. Yeah, so it's probably about a kilo fish, I think. A solid kilo. You know, as I mentioned before, I went down to that sinker weight and it paid off. I just got more and more timid. The water's so shallow that I'm fishing, as I mentioned before, that you know, you miss a fish or you pull out enough fish. So I pulled out 7 fish there now out of the same hole, and they just go off the line. In some cases, at some spots, you can pull out way more fish than that because they're way more prolific. But in this case, there's probably only a handful of drummer in there. Little pig. Oh, there you go. Undersized pigs just go off. You might call it a night, I think. Let's go up and check out the fish. So I'm going to release I'm going to release a couple of fish at least, I think. I might keep the rest for a feed. So preferably I prefer to release the biggest one. And keep an eye on this water too. There goes one. What a great night. 7 rock blackfish, released 3 fish, kept 4 for a feed. Now you can see how fishing for rock blackfish is quite possible in the pitch black. Make sure when you do venture down on the rocks at night that you know what you're doing. You've got all the safety gear, your steel spike shoes, your life jacket, your raincoat. Make sure that someone knows where you are as well, and make sure you do it on a flat night. You should be well versed as a rock fisherman before you go adventuring on the rocks at night as well. If you'd like to see more videos, please like, share and subscribe. I'd love to have you see more. Cheers.